I love questions. Let's just get that out of the way. I love questions because it's open dialogue. My motto is, one of my mottos are, there's no such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know, you just simply don't know.
Okay, here's my intro. Let me just erase that right there and go simple. My name, A-Z, no, I don't like that. A-Z-I-Z-A-K-I-B-I-B-I.
Hey, Aziza Kibibi here, and as promised, I am answering your questions. I asked you to share your questions under a community post on my YouTube channel. I am Aziza Kibibi, and then I will do a series of videos answering some of them because, well, I'll try to get through all of them because I get so many questions individually, then so many questions that are replies to other questions. So I just decided to do a video. So, you know, if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, I shared the fact that I am going to do this. So thank you all, first and foremost, for your contribution, for your insight, for your tips, your criticisms. That's my child laughing in the background. Okay, where was I? I guess you didn't realize I was recording already. Yeah, so we're gonna start with a few questions. There's really a lot. And if you don't know me by now, I am an activist, an author, a mom, a chef, and a survivor of a whole lot of different forms of abuse. And I have shared my story in different ways, whether it be to speak publicly, to serve as a voice for those who feel like they don't have one. I literally, you guys have to check this video out. I literally went out onto the Manhattan, New York subways, like switched platforms from subway train A to subway train C to subway train E, literally just talking in the subway cars and passing out information about my organization, Precious Little Ladies. I love questions. Let's just get that out of the way. I love questions because it's open dialogue. My motto is, one of my mottos are, there's no such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know, you just simply don't know. And I think it is that kind of thinking that I foster in my children that helps them, you know, to speak openly about their own thoughts. Because of the fact that I was homeschooled, I hadn't been in the school system, I didn't really experience that ridicule that comes along from other students, from your classmates, of like asking questions until I went to school myself. Now, mind you, I was 35 years old. A lot of the people in my class did not know that I was a mother of 5, and they kind of treated me like I was their peer when really I'm old enough to be their mom. Okay, quick story just before we get into the questions. I'm in school in my communications class and I ask questions. I rather get the right information instead of walking around dumb, clueless, and just assuming stuff. To me, that's what makes sense. So literally, every time I had a question, every time I inquired about something, every time I did not understand something the professor said or was speaking about, I asked. Well, apparently this was a problem because then, luckily for me, my professor used the process of me publishing my book as something to work on in the class. I was like, oh, crap, why'd you go and do that and put me on the spot? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. There was a student in my class who fancied himself a short film director, and he ended up being the one to lead the team that managed creating a book trailer for my book. Well, one time I asked him about it because I had to give input. It was about my book. He went off about me asking stupid questions all the time and kissing the professor's ass. And I was just like, oh, so this is what kids in school have to deal with? This is interesting. This is a grown man. Well, he wasn't that grown. Like I said, most of the people in my class were old enough for me to be, or young enough for me to be their mom. So that was just weird. But anyway, so let's get ready. Let's get ready to get into these questions. Okay, wait. Before I get into it, first I just want to say hey y'all to all of my subscribers, the ones that have been with me from the very beginning, and also my new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed, make sure you do that. Hit the subscribe button, click that bell so you can be notified as soon as I post a new video. And also going live for me has worked out very well. And being that it's off the cuff, people ask me a lot of questions when I go live, some very hard questions. One time someone asked me, did I ever get an STD from my dad? So yeah, that was interesting. But that kind of spontaneity seems to be pretty popular on my channel. So make sure you click the link. Definitely like. If you like this video, honestly, please like this video. How about that? Just like this video. Just go ahead. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. So like the video, share. That's another thing. People have really been sharing my videos and we've been able to reach, and I say we because my team that works with me, with my organization, Precious Little Ladies, we have been like hitting the ground hard even through the pandemic with helping survivors and helping to develop preventative measures. So, we have gotten more clients and we've been able to help more people through people like you sharing my videos and sharing my story. So definitely do that. Click that bell so you can be notified. All right, let's get into these questions. Thanks to everyone again for contributing and asking questions. Continue to do that. I will make another post so you can, get more questions, because even this video may inspire some other questions. But let's start with Julie Sabo. I am wondering if your sisters also had children by your father. You're a strong and courageous woman. May God bless you. Thank you, Julie. Yes, in short, yes, two of my sisters had children for my father. Yeah, I don't speak about them very often out of respect for their privacy. So, I don't really go into detail, but yes, two of my sisters had children by my father. So that is six children, six children born out of incestuous abuse in total. All right, next question. How is the family healing? Any programs? So that question is broad when you say family, because of course, there's my mom, there's all of my siblings, there are the moms of those other siblings, there are my cousins, my brother, and you know what? I'm going to start with him. He passed away. My eldest brother, well, he's not the eldest, I am the eldest, but he is the brother that I have who is the eldest boy. He killed himself accidentally. It was deemed accidentally because the detective does not think that he did it intentionally. He was under the influence of certain chemicals, and it did come about. It did happen just a few days after he called me in a state that seemed extremely confusing. He was dealing with memories that was coming up of him witnessing my father abuse me. So, I think he was figuring things out. He was in denial a lot of the ways. He had become estranged from us. So everything just seemed to rush back all at once. And while I was in school one day, I got a phone call that he had jumped from his 11th story apartment building in Manhattan. So, the whole thing with that, a lot of people don't take into consideration the impacts that the abuse of one child has on the other children in the family, even though they are not directly being abused. So yeah, as far as the programs, I did organize a group therapy session between myself and my sisters a few years back. My children and I, we do a lot of more spiritual therapy. We get together, we do group meditations, we have spoken openly. I myself have been through therapy. I am also in the process of working on my PhD. I did minor in psychotherapy in school, so any techniques and any therapy that I receive, I share with them and I employ with them. But no specific programs, I guess you can say. I'm not sure what programs means, but there has been different attempts throughout our life since we escaped my father. I hope that answers your question. All right, this question is from someone that doesn't have a name. I guess it's anonymous. I didn't even know you could do that on YouTube. But it says, are you ashamed for sharing your story a lot? I'm not sure what the intentions behind that questions are. You know, as a human, I mean, my first thought is like, oh, what do you mean? But taking a moment, as I said before, no such thing as a stupid question. Are you ashamed for sharing your story a lot? No, clearly I'm not. Clearly I am not ashamed. My book is called Unashamed. I think survivors have to deal with being shamed, whether it be shame that they bring on themselves, shame that family members put on them. Women in general, we seem to be the victims of taking on the sins of the world. I mean, look at the Bible. A lot of religious texts correlate sin directly with women, like we're the cause of it. And I think that that can be seen throughout our society. So a lot of times victims are blamed for what happened to them and not who committed the crime or did the harm in the first place. So no, I'm not ashamed. Was I ever? Yes. I went through a time where I was ashamed, and you can check out my video where I talk about lying to my husband at the time. He is now my ex-husband, but creating a whole story about who the father of my children were, because I was ashamed and I did not know how he was going to respond. But then I realized, like, why am I ashamed? I didn't ask for any of this stuff to happen to me. Like, it's not my fault. So once I came to that conclusion and I realized, then I wasn't ashamed. So with sharing my story, I'm very mission oriented. I truly believe, and many of you have told me, that watching my videos and me talking about what happened to me has been a help in your life, has been some form of encouragement, and it gets people thinking. So if anything, I am proud of how far I have come to the point where I can share unashamedly. It's something, my book initially was going to be called Absence of Contrition, which essentially means shameless. So thank you for your question, Anonymous. All right, and our last question for this video from Susan. What is the most powerful lesson you have learned from your experience? I would say the most powerful lesson I have learned has been recognizing my own abilities. You really don't know what you can handle until you have handled it, and understanding that kind of brings into fruition in me a fearlessness, a type of fearlessness. Not to say that I don't have any fear. You know, I get afraid, I get nervous, especially when I get in front of a huge crowd of people and I'm up on stage and there's all these lights on me and I'm sharing very intimate details of my life. Of course I'm nervous, because I think even now, with more people watching my videos, with more of you watching my videos and commenting and giving your opinions, I kind of get to see what people are thinking even more, where before, you know, when you're in person, it's a little more challenging for someone to come up to you and ask you about very intimate situations. So now when I go out in the public and I think of what people are thinking and are not saying, it kind of works my nerves a bit. It kind of works my nerves a bit, but you know, I get through it. I do it. I focus on what I'm here to do. I take solace in knowing that I could be helping somebody, and I just get through it. Like, you cannot go through life being afraid of discomfort. You really can't, because you'll get nothing done. You have to come out of your comfort zone in order to really make an impact on the world, in order to really make an impact on your own life. So I think that's the biggest lesson I have learned. I look back and I think about the person that I was, the young woman that I was, the scared little girl that I was, and I have definitely evolved and turned into something completely different. But I am technically the same person. I am the same soul. I am the same consciousness. I am in the same body. I mean, though I've put on a few pounds, filled out a bit, but yeah, it's like the ability to transform. And personally, the ability to transform yourself, but then the ability to transform the world and to transform a situation and to take something that is horrible and turn it into something that is useful. I think that, like, it really epitomizes the idea of fertilizer, right? You know, shit, it stinks, it's nasty, it's gross, it's got germs and bacteria, but you can really use it to fertilize and grow some delicious fruit. And along with the analogy that I use even for my children, with them being my lotus flowers, coming from something that is so horrible and them being something that is so beautiful and so fulfilling and have so much potential, I think that my entire life has really taught me the potential that us as people have, us as spiritual beings having the human experience, and humanity. There are some horrible, some evil things in the world, but we are not stagnant. We are not stagnant. We can grow, we can change, we can adapt. And I see my situation looking back at the things that I used to have to do, and like, I don't have to do it anymore. And I was a huge contributing factor in making that change and changing my life. And I continue to change my life every day. So that's the biggest lesson. Potential is a huge thing, and we all as humans have such great potential. You just have to foster it. You have to believe in yourself, and actively, intentionally work on growing and changing and developing. So that's it. Thank you for your very, very, very good question, Susan. And on that note, thank you all. Thank you for watching my video if you made it to the end, and all of your support and your kind words and your questions and your involvement and your bravery in being able to tackle hard issues through watching my videos. I'm sure you have had conversations, and it has just inspired more thought and hopefully actions in making a positive change in the world. So thank you again, and like this video if you do actually like it, and share, and make sure to check out my Instagram, Aziza Kibibi. I'm at Aziza Kibibi. Actually, I'm at Aziza Kibibi on everything. Twitter, Pinterest, yeah, you name it. Just look for Aziza Kibibi. And please check out my other content, and also make sure you go and listen to Self-Published. I'm just finishing up the season, getting prepared for the next season of my podcast, Self-Published podcast.com. Make sure you listen to that. You'll get even more details. Yeah, I continue to go in because this whole situation, this whole life, my life, and I'm sure many others, you know, we go through so much stuff just every day. Everyone has stories to tell. And sometimes you forget about some of them and then they pop up for whatever reason. Yeah, on my podcast, I talk about a lot of stuff and you guys get to hear someone in my life who was very instrumental in me writing my book. He really helped me a lot. And our conversation, like, I didn't even intend to publish it, but our conversation was, yeah, it was really juicy. It was really juicy. So make sure you check that out. Again, I'm Aziza Kibibi. Thank you again. And until next time, I will be doing another part of answering questions in this manner, because like I said on my post, there's a whole lot of questions, so I'm gonna break it up a little bit. So this was video 1, video 2 soon to come. All right, be blessed where you are. Blessing. Bye.
Live, sitting on the front porch, sipping on the rocks, citrus in our beverages, citrus in our beverages. Show only the good sides. Always pretty smiles are covering our faces. You know it is all lies. You know it is all lies.